And if you're not aware of what app stands for, it's just a file name extension for applications. Think of software. It's software, but it's for a very specific purpose. It has a very narrow purpose. But it's software that makes people's lives more productive, easier, more fun. It's just a real power tool, and people can tailor their experience on their mobile device, whether that's a smartphone or a tablet, even to what they want to do when they want to do it, and just as much of it as they want to do. So it's a tremendous threshold, but we need to understand that we need to be stepping across that threshold and in the door of this newer technology. The New York Times made the statement, the mobile marketing is the most powerful media ever invented. Normally when I hear things like the most powerful media ever invented, I don't get real excited or worked up. It's one of those things. It's like, okay, you're probably exaggerating. I truly do not believe this is an exaggeration. In fact, I would suggest to you that it is a wave, and it's a big wave. Our question is, once again, as always, how do we make money with this new technology, and how do we better serve our customers, and how do we foster better retention and better connection with our customers, and hopefully better engagement, so that we're there when they need us to be. So it is a wave, and we all get, I think, that it's coming. Maybe I've just helped you a little bit by understanding the breadth and the depth of this revolution in terms of how people get information and entertainment. But the question, and I want to remind you, really difficult. I don't know how much surfing you've done, but it's really difficult to catch a wave from behind. So we either are on board and looking at this, or moving towards being on board, or having a board, if we want to use a surfing analogy. I would say to you, it's time to have a board. It's time to be on the board, and we probably need to be looking and starting to paddle, because this is big. This is big, and it's going to be big for our business. Or not. We're going to explore this much fuller in another section, but what will we do as a dealership, and how will we do it, and will we be on board and catch that wave and ride it to its fullest? But this is where communication entertainment is going. There's just not any doubt about it. To illustrate that a little bit further, you might say, well, is there an app for everything? I love this little cartoon. Says, sorry, son, there's no app for that. I know in some parts of the country, when they experience snow, they could identify with this. And no, there's no app for that. I'd say yet. But notice that in terms of what's available on the Apple and the Google Play stores, there are about 2/3 700,000, 600,000 apps and growing. So there are indeed apps for a lot of things. A lot of things that people can do with their apps, things they like to do, things that make their lives, and this is important for us to take note of, easier, more productive, and more fun. And that's where we can play in terms of their transportation needs, making their lives easier, more productive, and hopefully more fun, so that it's engaging and they want to come and visit our app or use our app a lot. So currently the Apple downloads of apps, they've exceeded 25 billion mark. I don't want you to feel bad for our little green Android friend. In this last year, they have caught up and are now currently exceeding the downloads per month of both iPhone and the iPad app store combined, or those platforms combined. The current download market, and by the way, I want to draw your attention to the fact that this is a figure for December of 2012, 1 month. It's a heavy month because Christmas is in there, and a lot of people received smartphones this past Christmas. But there was a 1.57 billion download of apps for just these major platforms in that 1 month alone. So that's the Android, the iPhone, the iPad, and one of the comers, which is the Windows Phone. We don't have enough information yet to really project what's happening with that, but it is a technology that is having some acceptance and adoption. So an important thing to note. All right, so what about strategy? How are other industries using this mobile technology and apps and things of that nature to really try to drive their business? Well, I love these Geico commercials. I love the ones with the gecko, but this one, the first time I saw the one with the little pig and his little twirlies, well, I forget what those are called, but pinwheels, I think is what they're called. But anyway, when he's coming down the zip line and he's saying wee wee, it gets a little annoying. But I swear every time I see it, and then he's on the luge over here with the same thing. Something to note is that this commercial, the one with the luge, when he's coming down, there was only one purpose for this, okay, and that was to get people to download the app. There was no other messaging in this commercial, so it was fun, it was engaging. But if you were on a mobile device and you tapped it, it jumped that commercial jumped. He's here on your screen now. You're downloading the app, and when you tapped it, it would actually take it on over. If you were using a tablet, it would bring it over to your iPad. And now this company is part of your mobile world. So I hope you get the power of that they actually were doing nothing more than driving downloads of the app. And that's going to be a challenge. I will tell you, as a dealership, one of the first challenges is going to be how do we get people to engage with the app, want to download it, and then really importantly, how do we get them to use it often, because then we have engagement with the technology. A little bit of a few more statistics here. You say, Michael, it sounds great. What's the catch? There's been a big catch so far, and that has been the cost to develop an app. It's been very expensive. If you were just developing an app from scratch, you had someone program it, write the code, just for Android and the Apple platform alone, forget about Windows and the BlackBerry, you're looking, if you do the math there, it's about $50,000. I want you to keep that figure in mind. For most of us, especially small to medium-sized dealerships, that was out of the question. Even larger dealer groups, that's a lot of money any way that you talk about it. So it's been the real barrier, if there was one, to people starting to work with this technology. So you might say, well, $50,000, really? Let me show you a $50,000 app. This is the Mandalay Bay Resort and Casino in Las Vegas, and that app, I understand, was about $50,000. Now, it's a great app. You can look at the rooms and see pictures of the rooms. We see that right here. You can see what's going on in terms of the cost of a room. You can book a room. You can see you can look at events, who's playing in the different event venues within the resort. It's a really great app. But we can now do that in our dealerships with technology that's much less expensive. And that's what has really changed, is that technology, as it always does, it is advanced. The cost of doing things always drives down, and app development no longer even requires expensive code writing. Any size business can afford a custom app. And so this could be you right here on the smartphone in your dealership. And I'll show you an example of that when we take a look at another section and we take the tour of the dealer app and look at what their presence is going to be like once their app is up and on the stores and people are downloading it. So, a few key benefits in terms of apps themselves. One, it's a one-to-one intimate communication with customers. Remember, I shared with you, and here's a stat right down here, that for most people, that mobile device is within 10 feet of them 23 hours a day. That 1 hour they're not is when they're getting dressed, showering, doing that type of a thing. So for most people, it's pretty much 24/7. That mobile device is right there with them. I would do a timeout right there and have to ask everybody very seriously, why wouldn't we be in that space? Why wouldn't we want to be present and have our image, our brand showing right there on that device at all times? The other thing is the idea of push notifications. That's where you're sending out specials, discounts, reminders, coupons, anything we think about. I'm going to show you a little bit bigger picture about that in just a moment. But I want you to keep this in mind, 97 versus 4%. That's what we're going to talk about. And constant branding, you're right there on their device. And certainly viral marketing, as people share your app and download it and tell their friends about it. This is one of those ways, you know, you've got it on your Facebook page, you've got it in all your social media where people can download it right there off of that, your website. This is one of those things that actually can help you market, and it could go viral in terms of people sharing it. That's a very real possibility, and it is happening. Some more key benefits, GPS directions to the location. This is that turn by turn. If I need to know how to get to you, I've downloaded your app, it's my first visit, or maybe you share with people, download our app, it'll talk you right there. They don't need any other directional information. It'll take them right to the store. One-tap calling from the mobile device. If they need to call you, they tap the call or the contact icon, call us, whatever it's called, and it's an instantaneous call being placed to the dealership or the service department, whatever you've got built into your app. Social connection, I mentioned Facebook, but Twitter, YouTube, any of the social media, you can have your app present there and being downloaded there and facilitate more good conversations, positive conversations about your dealership. And one of the things I'm really excited about and that we're doing with our dealers is to use it as a platform for, we're calling it proof, but what that means is testimonials, important information, videos. And when we look at another session here, we'll look at how that looks on a smart device, but being able to play a small welcome to the dealership video, that's a pretty powerful thing. Welcome to our service department. And it may be, and this is the point that I really would like you to make a note about, because I don't think this is an exaggeration. It may be the least expensive and at the same time the most effective communication and marketing tool that we've ever had available to us in the automotive industry at the dealership level. I just absolutely have become, as you can tell, an advocate of what is happening and how it's happening. So let me just end this section by talking to you a little bit about, a little better explanation about push notifications. Now this is where you're pushing a message, that's why it's called push, onto every customer that's got your app on their smartphone or tablet. That it pushes it right up onto the screen, and it shows up on the screen. They have a choice. They can either look at it, view it, close it. The open rate for these is 97%. 97%. That's big. Let's compare it to email subscription, which the open rate is 4%. And if you were really good, let's say you're really good, and you were 4 times better than that. So you're 4 times better than the 16%. How good would you be? I think that's about 16%, if my math serves me right. And if that's true, you still compare this to this, that's kind of a no-brainer. That's a big opportunity. 97% open rate. So if we've got a message on an interest rate or a service special, that's everybody tuning into it right now and maybe making a decision to come on into our service department or come on into the showroom or come into our parts department and do business with us. And remember that our customers, when they come to us, they're buyers. They're buyers. So big opportunity, really big opportunity. So that's what's going on in terms of just, the idea of apps and what they're used for.